Hey, Liam, thanks for your time, mate. Great to catch up. Congratulations. How does it feel now, finally, that it's been announced?
Yeah, just a long time coming, honestly, for obviously a lot of people. It's been a big journey from a lot of people to make this happen. So the last sort of 12 months has just been, a sort of on edge waiting to find out. It's been a lot of work, honestly, in the background, trying to obviously keep the connection strong between myself and Red Bull and obviously the guys making the decisions. Every time they put me in a car, I had very limited testing, but every test was all evaluation based. It was all performance based and just trying to make sure that we did everything possible. So it's nice to finally to have it obviously on paper, which is what I really wanted, and to be able to call all those guys who have been behind me since day one and tell them that it's done.
Singapore's been an interesting spot for you over the last couple of years. Last year, you find out while you're filling in for Ricardo that you're not going to have a seat in 2024, which was a bit of a shock to everybody. And then this year, it turns out it was the last race for him in the team as well. So a little bit of irony there.
I know it's been it was my favorite race obviously last year, but obviously I knew last year that it was very conflicting because I was trying to obviously enjoy the highs of that weekend. It was a great weekend for the team and for myself to, I guess, try and put my foot down in Formula One and make a statement there and to know that I wasn't going to get the contract this year. And then this year, exactly, going back a year later, wasn't an enjoyable weekend, honestly, for myself or for Daniel, obviously. It's just it's just something that, from my side, I was lucky I could sort of try and avoid all media and not really take any interviews. But for Daniel, he's having to do press conferences and things like that. So I respect massively how he dealt with it. And he's never made it feel like we were in competition since last year, since I jumped in after his rest. And he's always been good to me and done in more ways than what most people will know, even just little things within the team. So yeah, it's wasn't a great feeling being in Singapore, but at the same time, and he even said this to me, when I left the track on Sunday, I went and saw him and I said, I'm sorry for this whole situation because it sucks and I know that there's nothing against you. And he said, make the most of this opportunity because you get one shot at F1. And he wished me luck, which I respected massively.
How does your mindset shift now, mate? That relief's gone and now the focus shifts obviously massively to driving a Formula One car as a contracted driver.
That's honestly, there's the most surprising part, which I didn't really think about, is I spent my whole life thinking about what it would be like, envisioning what it would be like to get that phone call or to get that meeting, that contract in my hand to say you're now an F1 driver. And that's all I thought about for so long. And it's amazing how quickly that shifted as soon as I got that contract to now I got to perform, now I got to succeed in the sport, now I got to basically focus on performing. And that's basically straight where my mind went to. So now luckily we have a couple of weeks where we can prepare for that. It's going to be extremely tough. We got Austin, which is a sprint weekend, and I've never driven Austin. So that's going to be a challenge. Obviously, we even have a grid penalty there. So, the weekend is going to be tough. And it's the end of the season. So it's, these guys have done 3/4 of a season and I'm jumping in, basically for the last 6. So, but obviously I'm excited.
Yeah. And you're jumping into a Formula One season that is enthralling.
I know it's at its peak right now. Obviously hopefully that ceiling can keep rising every year, but it's certainly been very, very good as a fan, I can imagine it's been a great season to watch. Even the midfield where we're going to be competing is extremely tight. Trying to make Q3 is whoever puts that best lap together out of the bottom 4 teams. Any one of them at points can make that lap happen. So it's going to be tough. And obviously we're fighting for a spot in the Constructors' Championship as well for the midfield. So it's going to be. I don't feel it yet, but I'm sure going into the weekend I'll probably be feeling some pressure.
Coming up to this point where finally you found out that you were going to be in the seat, I mean, how many times did you just sit there and just go, is this actually going to happen? Am I going to miss out? Am I going to be in the wrong place at the wrong time? Is something going to derail my dream?
Yeah, that was, in fact, the week leading up to it, the week leading up to when I got the contracts, I didn't call. I stopped calling my parents, so I didn't speak to my mum and dad for over a week leading up to that day, because they knew it was coming. They knew it was getting to crunch time. They knew the deadline and the deadline date, and I couldn't keep calling them and telling them, guys, I don't know. Didn't call them, and then basically as soon as I got the information, obviously I called my dad, and he picked up straight away, and he was wide awake, basically waiting to find out. And obviously it was a very, very cool moment, but it was back and forth for a long time, because Formula One changes every weekend. You're looking good one minute, and then all of a sudden somebody performs and you're like, oh, maybe we don't do this. And it's just back and forth. So there's been many times this year where I wasn't sure how it's going to play out.
Mate, you should be incredibly proud, and mate, we'll be obviously supporting and watching through to the rest of the year. So good luck.
Thank you. Honestly, it's something that I even feel like, obviously coming home every year as it's been getting closer, and especially last year, the support from New Zealanders is amazing, and I absolutely feel it, and I'm stoked for obviously for our team, but just for everybody. Yeah, it's a pretty cool achievement. It's what obviously I've set out to do from a young age. So to everybody watching, to everybody from New Zealand, thanks for the support. I hope I can go in and do you guys proud.